Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. I'm joined today by none other than Cozy Rivals. Cozy, we've been talking a lot about Marvel Rivals today, but you know what? For this here episode, dial back into the Cozy Snap because we need to talk about our rankings from last season. Sir, there were a lot of cards that dropped last season, a wild amount of cards. The first was Surtur, the season pass card, and this is funny. We came in both at 5 stars, and we joked about how we feel like we missed low. How could that even be possible?
Yeah, I think it was the next episode that we brought that up, and it's like, yep, he got nerfed, the fastest turnaround that we've ever seen for a season pass card getting nerfed, and he's still good, and he was even better than what we thought he was going to be, because again, as we brought up earlier, we didn't know that a card becoming a 10 power would then trigger him, and so there's so much baked into missing him, but we gave him a 5-star. So we were correct. So it was such a weird card evaluation. I think it's safe to say that this guy aged pretty damn well and is a very good card in the game that I'm starting to feel bad playing. You know, it's like, a card eventually gets to that state. It's like, man, he's getting there.
Yeah, I know. Even at 3-4, he's still wild because he still gets up to the 10 power to allow Scar to become free, and Scar even got nerfed as well. They actually attacked that particular Surtur deck from multiple positions there, and it's crazy because we've kind of talked about in the past, new cards coming out and which decks they go into. I think Surtur's a great example of you really only need it to go in one deck for it to have an impact. It's only really played in one deck, but that deck performs so unbelievably well that it rose Surtur and it rose Scar completely up into the sky. And for those curious, post-nerf, and this is top 50% infinite last 7 days, Surtur runs a 12% popularity at a 53.5% win rate, nearly 54. This is post-nerf. So to think about what it was doing before that was it was probably soul crushing on second dinner statistics.
Dude, that's ridiculous. Now too with Galacta, you could essentially get Cersei or Blink, some of these other 7 power cards going up to 10. And so it's gonna be interesting to see how he continues to age. Maybe you want to go with a Black Bolt into Stature. Boom, Black Bolt, Stature, 2 10s right there. That's a crazy combination. I think there's gonna be some really cool stuff that you could pull off with him. And so he probably only gets better.
I know, man. It's kind of crazy to think that a card that's already this good probably continues to get better. And that's exactly what Surtur is going to do. And so if you're thinking about whether or not you're going to pick up the season pass, this is going to be a card you probably want in your collection. Listen, $10 is different for everybody, but it is going to be one of the least expensive ways you can pick up an absolute meta banger. That's for sure, because we all know the cost of tokens and everything else in the game. And so thankfully the season pass still remains a relatively fair value especially with the power of Surtur itself. So that's going to take us to the actual card that was released that week via the Spotlight caches, and that was Frigga. Now, Frigga, I had rated at a 3 stars. Cozy, you came in a little cold at 2. The current ratings, again, last 7 days, top 50% infinite, would give Frigga a 3.5% popularity at a 47% win rate. Definitely not as impressive as I would have hoped. Cozy, what are your thoughts?
You know what though? Even though that's I gave it a 2, but I play it like it's a 3.5, right? I play a lot of Frigga. I think she's a super fun card to play. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. I just who am I impressing? Who am I trying to play these meta? Woo! I'm having fun with Snap, and so for me, Frigga is fun. I think she's super fun to put into a lot of builds, and so that is something I've been doing with her. But yeah, she's definitely 2. When it comes to competitive, at least that kind of feels maybe 2.5.
Yeah, I actually like the card a lot. I've been playing it more often than not, and I actually like it. I feel like it plays okay. Even on the release week when we were kind of evaluating it, we had suggested even 3-4.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? I can see Frigga going to 3-4 and probably stopping there. I think the effect is fun. I think it's good. I think especially with a card like Cassandra Nova, considering how often Arisham's seeing play right now, you Frigga that Cassandra Nova, right? Or even you Cassandra Nova into Absorbing Man into Frigga something else on turn 5. It's insane what you've got there, right? So I do like the card a lot, and I do see why it competitively hasn't quite kept up with some of the other cards released this month. But overall, I still like it. So I kind of like the fact that you're saying hey, I don't care. Whatever the meta is, who cares? I'm here to have fun, and Frigga's fun.
Yeah, she's definitely fun, and there's she is flexible too. That's the cool thing. There's a large amount of decks to have that fun with, whether it be Destroyer, the Thor decks, or whatever. It's cool to sometimes just use a card twice. And I do think, as we did say, that as time moves on, there's going to be things that make sense to play her more and more.
Yeah, no kidding. And so with Frigga, I mean, probably less exciting that you might have hoped, but I don't think like this card's bad, and I hope that eventually, and it probably will come back at some point in the future. Going to the next card of the next week would have been Malekith. Now, Cozy, you were particularly high on Malekith. You came in at 4.5. I came in kind of low. I came in at 3. Now, 3 is not even low, but it's probably too low for Malekith, who is running a 52% win rate and a 9% popularity.
Yeah, I thought you came in at 2.5, so I'm glad that 3. I was like, oh man, I was ready to have some fun with you, but you saved with 3. Yeah, man, I think I had him as my favorite. Man, no, it was so tough, man, because you had Gore in this one too. I think I had Gore, then Surtur, then Malekith, but they were all good. And yeah, man, he played how I thought it would. He played how I thought he would. Discard, man, good God, it's so fun to play him in there. And proud of the list that I've been playing has seemed like it's been doing pretty good. It's what I played through Deadpool's Diner. Malekith just works, and he's going to keep working. He's a fun card. He's good.
I got to tell you, I got to give you credit. The discard deck that you designed with Malekith was like the top performer for the longest time with him. And like, honestly, man, like, I think that's exactly what Malekith needed. It needed a really solid deck and a lot of fun ways to play it. And I had a lot of fun playing him too. Like, I had this deck where like I was running like all these like I was running the Hazmat Ajax type stuff. And like whether it pulled Hazmat, it was good. Whether it pulled Luke Cage, it was good. And even the 4-6 stat line, while it felt unimpressive, the idea of having like a snap condition hidden behind a card that your opponent can't see, I felt like it provided with a lot of snap equity. I liked the card a lot. And at first I was like, oh man, maybe 3 stars because it's a little random. You don't know what you're pulling. But generally speaking, everything you pulled was good. A lot of the top performing decks were running stuff like Kate Bishop, and I personally didn't like that. I'd rather have like insured hits at the 1-2-3s, despite what the stats might indicate. I know Kate Bishop's good, but I don't want her in a Malekith deck, if that makes any sense. So I don't know if you agree or not, but.
No, I do. 100% agree. I think that week he came out, we talked about it the next week when we did our in review, that I was like, man, there's like all types of cards in there that people were playing that you don't get the hit off, right? Like, it's like, it just didn't make sense. That's why Discard made so much sense, because most of the cards outside of like maybe Swarm you were happy with, and then you had the big booms like Morbius that could really take advantage.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, Malekith, Cozy coming in at 4.5, me at 3. Cozy, I think you were a little closer on the mark there at a 52% win rate and 50% top infinite. Definitely a good card, definitely worth considering. Fenris Wolf, the next card to come out. Now this one here was interesting because I came in at 4, you came in at 3.5. Turns of Statistics is running a 52% win rate at 12% of the meta popularity. I'd be interested in your thoughts here because I have mixed feelings about Fenris.
Yeah, damn, I thought I gave him a 2, and then I went up to maybe higher than that. Man, I forget all my rankings all the time. Yeah, you know what? Fenris is in the same category as Frigga for me, right? Like, I see what the stats say. I know what he deserves as star rating per se. I have had good games with Fenris, and I enjoy him. I think he's a clever card. I think he is good, too. I think he's good. I think he works. I think that, we'll continue to have the game move forward. Like, it's... Man, as soon as they fix the system, it's going to be really cool to have cards like Fenris, and this is like one that's much more worth taking the risk on when you don't have things like Gore and friggin' Malekith the week before. But yeah, what are your thoughts on him?
I liked him. I was playing this like all-in Fenris deck where I was running like Lady Deathstrike and stuff like that, like going all in on destroying their stuff and kind of trying to high roll into some interesting things. And it worked, man. It worked. I thought it was great. The deck performed well. It was one of those situations like you could play a Fenris Wolf deck with like Lady Deathstrike and all these very tight lines, or you can just play Surtur and just win all the time. You know what I mean? It's like Fenris requires all these extra hoops, and despite the fact that it's effective, it's because you don't have the reliability of just like, oh, I play big cards, I win game, or I play Airsham and my opponent tilts and leaves. Fenris just kind of falls to the wayside. I do think this is a good card. I don't want to say it's going to age like fine wine, but it's going to age well. It's going to be like a nice picture on the wall. You're like, yeah, look at that. It's gaining value as the time goes on. I don't know if that's a good example or not, but it's going to age well. Not like fine wine, but just good. It's going to be okay. And if you have it in your collection, I think that's fine. And when it drops in series in 7 years, you'll be like, oh, sick. Series 4 Fenris. This is going to be
Seven's
exciting, right? And so,
generous, yeah.
Yeah. So, Fenris Wolf, I came in at 4, Cozy 3.5, 52% win rate. Not bad. I think we were kind of on the mark there. Where I was not on the mark, oh gosh, is King Eitri. Okay, so a couple things I want to admit here. Okay, so last week you're like, Alex, you got to unlock the card. You have to. I have not been able to bring myself to play Deadpool's Diner enough to unlock this absolute POS.
This is
I
your
can't.
job.
I haven't done it yet,
This is
dude.
your job. How have you
Dude, I
not
couldn't do
played?
I couldn't do it, man. I got stuck at Jello like 95% of the people here, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying gold, man. I'm not doing it. I'm not paying gold because last time I did, I'm not doing it.
I did not pay a cent.
Yeah, I know you did, but you're a good player, okay,
No,
man?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. But I was like, I can't do it, dude. I can't. I hate Deadpool's Diner so much. I'm like, I don't want to play. So like, I've been like snapping, and then like I just lose. I'm letting it like passively increase to back to my 600,000 or whatever. I still don't even have the card yet, but statistically, he's running a 46% win rate, negative cube rate, 5% popularity. I came in at 3.5. Cozy, you came in at 2, then you tested it at 1.5. So I'm like 2 off. You need to insult me now, please. I deserve it.
I feel like I did that last episode. No, actually, you didn't play the card yet, so maybe I was light on you. No, I remember when you gave him a 3.5. I was like, all right, this is the misery of the month, like we got a card. I hate him. I still hate him. I haven't played him since the video I made on him because he pissed me off that video, and then I never wanted to play him again. The Asgardians just need more. Like, they're just... Yeah, it's not him. It's like I said in the breakdown I gave last week. I'm not going to go through it all again, but essentially when you're playing Thor and then you're playing Bill and then you're playing maybe Jane that you're probably going to have a lot. When you play him, you can't play him on 5, can't play him on 6, probably not going to play him on 4 and probably 3. So you can play him on 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Like, it's not like, I understand, and maybe it's because I didn't get my hands on him that I didn't break him. You know what I mean? Maybe I was the guy to break the meta.
It was.
Honestly, I might not even unlock him. I might not even unlock him. Like, I don't give a hoot about Deadpool's Diner.
Would that be the first card you don't have, though?
It would be the only card I don't have.
That's why.
I might not do it, dude. I'm not even that far off, but I'm still like a couple million bubs out.
You might as well not.
Like, I'm actually so I'm so irritated with it.
At this point, I think it's like it's a trophy you could hold not having them.
Just don't even bother. Like, you like, this is I stand on this hill. I'm like, no.
Yep.
I chose this path.
Yep.
Then he gets buffed to 1/4.
1/5.
1/6. Cozy plays him, breaks the meta.
Yeah.
King Eitri, he sucks. And when we do the rankings, you're going to get to roast me even more because it also gets pretty sad there too. Not as sad, but kind of not great. All right, we go to Gore. Gore, the big bad, the god butcher. Cozy, you came in at 5.
Card of the month.
And then you talked yourself down to 4.5.
No,
so
I
you're
gave
at
him,
5.
No, I ranked him the #1 card of the month. On God, go look at it. Go back.
No, I have that too, sir. And you said, hey, that doesn't make sense because you ranked Surtur higher. You kind of, I checked. I checked the team.
I know none of my rankings. I'm too tired for this. Yeah, I don't know any of my rankings. But yes, okay, so 4.5, but he was my favorite card of the month, or best card of the month. Okay.
Yes,
Good job,
so
Cozy.
you ranked him less than Surtur, but thought he was ultimately better than Surtur. It was
Good job,
confusing
Cozy.
too.
Yeah.
I came in at 4. Now here's the thing though, and again, this is infinite top 50%, 7 days, 49% win rate at a 26% popularity. So the win rate's actually really low. But how much Rogue have you seen this week?
Yeah, dude. It was a card that was easy to counter, like heavily, or Super Scroll, or people were doing negative decks. I don't care what they say. I'm sticking with it by rating. I think he's a crack card. I love him.
Yeah. This is like very hard to rate because 2 weeks from now, when he's not being aggressively countered the entire time, his stats are going to go up. His cube rate's barely positive, but 49% win rate I do not think is indicative of what he's capable of, considering that I was getting him vertical like well over 20 very often, especially with the opportunity to copy him with Mystique and stuff like that. Very natural plays. So I do agree. The amount of Rogue gameplay was exceptional over the last week.
So much Rogue, yep.
So maybe that was a bit of a factor. We talked about that though, Like the release week of the card, sometimes it can be hard to evaluate because of that exact reason. So Gore for us, I dropped 4, you dropped a 5. Now final rankings. These were the rankings, Cozy, that you had given.
These. Okay.
You said Gore #1, Surtur #2, Malekith #3, Fenris #4, Frigga number 5, and Eitri at the bottom.
Oh, I think
What do you think?
I think I nailed it. Maybe Surtur because of the poster. I think I like my rankings there. Feel good about that.
I think Surtur, Gore, switch, and you're perfect. Probably.
Okay.
That's what I would suggest. Now, not nearly as perfect. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to read this. Okay, here, we ready? Alex's rankings. This is so bad. Surtur number 1. Okay, that's not bad.
Okay.
Surtur number 1. Okay. Fenris Wolf. Poo. Gore. King Eitri. Frigga. Malekith. Next time we do rankings, I'm not going to get into the Jack Daniels because unfortunately it impacts my judgment.
Dude, let's face it. You went full scotch, man. I saw that full barrel of scotch you put down. It was the one that was in my backdrop, man.
Yeah, that's right, man.
As my son cries. Sorry if anybody heard that in the background there. Yeah, listen. Not your best rankings. Not your best. Not your worst.
No.
Actually, it could be.
I've done worse. Oh, yeah, I've definitely done worse. If you're listening to this podcast, you know I've done worse.
I feel like you've done worse maybe on an individual card, but the full rankings, I don't know.
Yeah, no, my actual independent rankings are not that far off.
No, they're not.
Eitri's off. I missed Eitri.
Yeah.
But the actual numerical rankings are rough here, right?
I think that you loved Asgardians so much, and Beta Ray Bill, like, I think you saw King Eitri and like you fell in love, right? And I think that's what happened.
And that he's so bad now that I in Deadpool's Diner so bad that I don't even want to play him. Like I don't even want to unlock him. I'm not going to spend 6K tokens on him, man. I can't. He's going to be. I don't know what to do. I need to actually like go to therapy over this. Like I actually don't know what to do.
Your therapist is no comment.
No comment. All right. You know what we should talk about, Cozy? Talk about King Eitri. You know, if King Eitri were to drop in series, I wouldn't be as upset about it. But we both know that King Eitri is not going to drop in series within the next 6 years. Or he'll be the one that drops like a rock where everything else stays up. Who knows? What I will say, however, is that, after we had finished recording our Snapchat last week, we released our episode on Monday. Shortly thereafter, they released the series drops. Like the timing couldn't have been worse, honestly. Cozy and I did not know in advance of what those drops were going to be or how awful they were going to be. And even a week or two prior, we actually had done an episode about series drops on this very channel, in this very podcast. And we had joked about how like, oh, there's a ton of cards they should be dropping. They're probably going to drop absolute garbage. And we said that to each other and laughed. I don't know about you, Cozy. I thought to myself, with all the competition out there, with everything that's going on, Pokemon Pocket literally eating their lunch from the fridge every single day, they got to bring their A game. They most certainly did not bring their A game at all. So we got quite a conversation to have here, Cozy. So I'll give you the floor here. What are your general thoughts on those series drops?
Yeah, so I was trying to find two things looking down while you're talking, so I do apologize. What I was looking for are two different quotes from developers, right? And so let me pull up the first one here. If fun fact, I think if you go to the Marvel Snap Reddit and you sort by top, and I think it's this month, I believe it is. Well, no, that's even better. There's a great troll card there. No, it's the third one down. So this was from Bin Broad. Was it 2 years ago when series drops were introduced? I'm sure a lot of people have seen this, but just it's important for context of our conversation. So 2 years ago, we have a lot to figure out with moving cards down a series, but we have time to figure that out. However, I will say that at some point, cards entering Series 5 and 4 need to equal cards being downgraded from Series 4 to 3, or else token shop cards will infinitely inflate, causing new players to have an insurmountable hill to climb. What this means is that if we add one new card a week to Series 5, you'll see one card go from Series 4 to 3 a week as well. On average, we might do this in batches. So even players who spend a single token or who never spend a token will eventually have the same pace of new cards just later. Now, before we comment on that, let me read the second one here. This is from our current community manager, Griffin, who states, series drops arrive December 10th. While these series drops will help many players along their journey, I don't know who that is. It's not intended to fix the core issues we are all feeling around card acquisition. The team remains focused on a little corporate-ish there, but team remains focused on a larger long-term solution. we're planning for an even bigger series drop in the first quarter of 2025, which is faster than our previous series drop schedule. Okay, great. Got through those two. I think those are good to have context because there's a lot to talk around that. And which one? Which one do you want to start with, Ben's or the other one?
It's funny because I actually did have Ben's clipped in my notes as well. And what that really showed me was that the team, when they designed this system, was aware of its limitations. We're aware of its flaws. And we're also aware of what they had to do to make this system fair in the long term. Where years down the line, this has not happened, as described by Ben. And what has resulted is not a insurmountable hill to climb, but a hill the size of Mount Everest, right? Olympus Mons, right? For the space interested out there. Like, this is such a massive hill to climb for new players that, like, they're not even going to want to start in the first place. And it bothers me from a sense that, like, this was a problem. You knew on the onset of designing this system that this was the problem scenario, and you never did anything to rectify it. You just allowed the problem to continue to basically just balloon over and over and over again, continuously kind of like dangling a little bit of a carrot in front of the audience, saying, hey, we're going to fix it, and then just not fixing it. And then essentially what happened is it hits a boiling point where your audience isn't going to take it anymore. The player base isn't going to take it anymore. And it's unfortunate because you have a game that is so remarkable to play, a game that is widely considered the best card game on the planet. And I play all of them. I play all the digital ones. I play all the physical ones. Marvel Snap's the one that keeps me coming back from a gameplay perspective. But this system, it has put such a negative focus on the best card game on the planet that it's mind-blowing to me that we're years from that quote that you just read, Cozy, despite the fact that on the onset they knew that was the problem, and they chose not to correct it. I don't know why, because for me it seems like an incredibly obvious thing to have to fix.
At this point, it's let's do something and then let's see how reactions come from it, and then we'll change, right? So, like, we've seen that with some of the stuff, I guess, with like the split bugs that happen. I don't really care about that. Listen, I want to simplify this, guys. I play this game. I make content on it, but I play it for fun. I play it for it's a mobile game. It's a mobile game. Okay. That's why it's like meta this, meta. I don't care. It's a game that I'm picking up for fun. And when you don't get the new cards, it's not fun. Like, it's just not rocket science. And they were making a lot of money at the start because of the core of the game's first build. And they needed ways to continue to make that much. And they have chosen the wrong path time and time. And listen, they're withholding fun. They're not having cards go down. It's puzzling. To me, there's no other way around it. There's no small team excuse. There's no, listen, this could hold me back from being in a future Conquerors. That would be a shame because I have to speak when we have spoken. It's just not even much left to say. They've got to drop cards, way more cards. We're so disappointed with the cards that dropped. I think everybody can say that, right? I think at this point we can all say that. It's not scorched earth, guys. It's not like do what you want to. If you don't like the game, like just stop playing it. But for those that love the game, like us too and many others, we want the game to be great. And so seeing a series drop like the last one, it's just I'm not even shocked. I was a little more shocked than I usually would because I thought, with A, competition, but B, just given the state of how many cards have entered the game versus how many have dropped, it's something they've got to fix. And so it's like, I hate that why did we wait till the boiling point? Why was that the goal? I just don't understand some of the key decision makers over there choosing that route, and it's, listen, when Spotlights came out, we all got on this call. We got to see Spotlights give our feedback on how the Spotlight system would work, our worries about it, what we thought about it. We gave good rapport to it because of, at the time, when it came out, what it was solving. I've never been on another call. I've never been invited to another call, ever. I know other people that have been invited. I hate to speak for them, but I know Regis has tweeted the same. Like, there's just communication isn't there. I don't know what else to do or say at that point, and that is a bummer there. Man, I'm exhausted. Guys, Drop cards. Make the game more playable. Make it more fun. There's a lot of cool. Glenn, you kick ass, man. Love balance in this game. I think the balance is so much fun, or the cards are so much fun. They're so unique. The game has such a good charm about it. The charm of Marvel Snap is what keeps me playing it. But yeah, we can't play the game when we don't have cards. And if I'm creating content and I'm signed to buy cards and I'm having to explain to my wife I'm spending X amount to get cards, like it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And talking about poor communication, I think there's another core thing that needs to be mentioned. There's often this, like, you mentioned it before, even when you were reading the prior statement, like there's a lot of corporate speak. And I think it's like, it kind of reads insulting sometimes. Like that's the way I take it. There's been so many times where like they've said, oh, we hear you or we're listening to you and stuff like that. However, the community as a whole should not feel like they have to resort to things like review bombing in order for their opinion to be taken seriously. The Marvel Snap community has been like stating for the longest time that these are significant pain points. And if it doesn't come up at a round table like 2 years ago saying like, hey, we got to fix this because this is a significant problem for our game. It, like, the fact that review bombing happened, that to me really, really, really hurt me, because when that happens, like it takes years for games to correct that reputational damage. It takes years for a game to like turn the corner from that type of like, you know, review bombing like stuff. And like, you think that's not going to impact new players when they look at a game and it goes from a 4.5 rating on the Google Play Store to a 3.2, or when it goes for where there's 70,000 negative reviews on Steam saying the exact same thing over and over again? Like that to me, especially as like someone who makes content for this game, loves the game, I'm getting messages on my videos saying like, hey Alex, like, love the content, but like I can't play Snap anymore. Like I just can't. When people are not playing Snap anymore, not because they don't love the gameplay or the game, because they ethically think that they cannot continue playing the game and supporting the way these systems functions, it's so heartbreaking, man. Like I wasn't even mad when this happened. I was like so disappointed that it came to this point. It actually breaks my heart that like these situations keep happening and we keep being forced to have these difficult conversations that like should never get to this point. Like these should have been fixed a year and a half ago. Like the quote you read today illustrated that they knew this was a problem from the onset and they chose not to correct it. And perhaps we're not privy to all the information. We're not privy to what, you know, private equity investors are into, or, you know, green lines not going high enough, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day, you know?
Yep. We have so much fun with the game, guys. We keep the podcast usually really light and fun. But why? How can we? You know, with that, how do we not? And the sad fact is, other than Glenn, and I'll shout. And the reason I shout out Glenn is because Glenn will talk to me. Hey, you know, respected the episode today. Loved your takes here. Never gotten that from anyone else. So I'm kind of speaking to the void, right? Like, it's there's just nothing. So speaking about it, I think is important to you guys and our thoughts on it, because you guys listen to us every Monday. We love that. We appreciate that. It pains me though to see the hurt across the board. The game in the digital card space has won, and it's gonna win. I'm sorry, Snap's not going anywhere. If No Man's Sky can do it, Snap can do it, right? But yeah, it's what a damn shame it is that we're going into the holiday season. Second Dinner has written, if you look at their job applications, literally that you get 2 weeks off during the holidays or 3 weeks. I don't even remember what it was, but like time's gonna be taken off. So you're effectively gonna have a really rough December. Outside of the collaboration season, which is so funny. It takes Marvel Rivals and this hype game collaborating with Snap to have some liftoff. But then we have to wait till January. And so, hey, you know, Griffin, I'm glad that you see, all you guys at the dev team see the flaws. And January, you guys have the chance to drop a lot of cards and do it right. I think we said drop every card one series. Man, I don't even know if that would be enough, right? But make it obvious. No matter what, you're gonna have the internet trolls and drama, and I like, that's why we don't talk about negativity a lot. Like, Twitter represents 1%, and I just don't care about people that cry. But when it's something that's just like very obvious and evident, right? Yeah, it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. And make the game fun. Make the game fun by giving people more cards, right? You guys have made a lot of money. Make money through variants, yep, but not every game mode, everything, every feature, not everything has to be about your bottom line. It'll come if the game, continues to be fun. So, yeah, it's a bummer, but I still have fun with the game. It's not that, but again, I think I explained it last week. I'm buying the cards, so I'm having fun, right? So, make it fun for everybody, make it enjoyable, and get rid of that hill. And I think also maybe address some, not just that quote from Ben. I think there's a lot of past quotes on a lot of past things. You can't buy tokens. You can't. There's a lot of things that have been said, and then they just like do it, and then we all are like, oh, cool, that works, I guess. But like, I think just address them. Have an open Q&A. Have an open dev talk. Have an open Discord call with the creators if you want a smaller size. I think they have a server or something for people that they're going in for feedback or something. I don't think it was the creators, but just everybody. I don't know how that works. Yeah, and I'll say it. I open you guys devs if you're listening. I open my DMs on Discord are wide open, as are Alex's too. I think to talk about this. Would love to. Let's talk more.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would, and that's not an opportunity that I've ever been given, right? And like this is our platform to try to kind of advocate for positive change, and we're trying our best to do that. And I don't want to harp on things, but at the same time, it's like if you think about like the issues with the amount of cards entering Series 5, they even made the problem worse. Like we used to have it so the first week of the season was only the season pass, and then they added an additional card in there. So like they made that decision to add an additional card into Series 5 every single month that just kind of pushed people further and further out, even just buying the season pass isn't enough, right? You have the changes to the way the collector's tokens work and the collector's reserves work. Like I have over 900 of them at this point. Like they're not really worth anything at all. Like it's not worth the time. For like, Coccia, I'll pay you to open my tokens, like open my crates. Like, I don't know what else to do. Gold bundles are basically just gone, right? Like we used to have amazing gold bundles with amazing value, and those are just gone. So like there's all these small pain points that add up to just this whole method of playing with the card. It's a card game where playing with the cards is the hardest part. Getting your hands on the actual cards is the hardest part. And so, I don't know. I just legitimately hope they fix it. I'm past being mad. Like I'm actually sad about it, man.
I don't have anything else to say on it. Like I'm not going to talk about this in future weeks, guys. We'll talk about it in January when they address it. I'm not going to harp on it, and it's not because I don't care. It's just like, okay, like what are we going to do? But say our initial take, and we've said it multiple times now. I think we've had multiple weeks with it. But yeah, that's all I have to say on the subject. Just the disappointment as a full day.
Yeah. I agree. And I just think it's unfortunate closing that I think we lost a lot of actual players. I think that over this past week, we lost a lot of actual Marvel Snap players, people who love this game. And when that series drop announcement came, they realized that they were never going to be able to keep up. And that's what upsets me the most, because I was getting messages from, the names that I've recognized since like the first 2 weeks of Marvel Snap's launch. And they're saying goodbye to me because we got guys who are making decisions about their bottom line and not about the player base. That bothers me, because I know you're like me, man. I don't look at subscriber numbers. I don't see numbers. I see people, and it really bothered me. So yeah, I just want to close with that, because at the end of the day, we need to just make sure that we're actually we're giving our player base the opportunity to actually play the game they love. And when we take that away from them, they're going to go and they're going to find something else they love. They're going to leave our communities, and for me, that's the most heartbreaking part.
I think that there are ways to, just like I brought up No Man's Sky, there are ways to really fix this pretty swiftly. You will lose some of those people that you won't come back, but people will, people won't. For me, I'm doing Rivals because it's a game I love, like period. If I wanted to capitalize, I talked about it, I would do Pokemon Pocket. So y'all will see more than anything that if I would have stopped making content on my Snap channel, and if my Rivals channel was doing great over there, which it's been such a tremendous support to start. If I like my whole channel, I didn't come from another game. My channel doesn't come from another game. I don't come from purely Snap. Day in, day out, every week of my life, every day of my life has been about Marvel Snap, and I want to keep on having that. And January, as I said, December was going to be. January is a big month. And, looking forward to the series drops. I also just don't know why we don't get the drops now. Put more now. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the Snapchat mailbag, shall we?
Our first question comes in from Diego, and it reads, "Hey guys, I love the Snapchat because I really like the way you guys share your opinions on the game, on the cards, and even your favorite candies. Anyways, I wanted to ask how cool it would be to change Lizard to an Activate, transform any card here into other lizards. And then there could be like other 1-2 lizards."
Oh, that's cool. It's cooler than the lizard we have now. That's for sure. I'll give you that much. I thought it meant like other lizards that were 2/5s. It's like, oh my gosh, that lane would go down and it would be destroyed immediately. Yeah, that's fun. I like the idea. I always love when people throw their ideas for new card design.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was funny because they like the Snapchat because we talk about candy. Which, by the way, I had this thought of like, I got to go to the States and pick up some candy. But apparently Buffalo had a massive storm. And
Big storm.
So I can't get to the, what?
Big storm, yeah.
Yeah, huge storm. Can't get in there, man. Can't get in there. Next question comes from Yazalir? Maybe? I don't know. Just got into Garden Life, a cozy simulator in this month's Humble Bundle. So my question is, where is Cozy's channel about gardening? I can't seem to find it. Seems like a good activity to do with my kid.
It is hidden deep in the realms of YouTube. Deep in there, you'll find it's in all caps, but this tomato plant is a nightmare. And then there's like a line, and then look for it. It says, "Best tomatoes I've ever tasted." It's deep. Look it up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually love gardening. I used to grow like all my own hot peppers and stuff. And this sounds crazy, but I used to like make like, not jalapenos, but these habanero style peppers. And I used to just eat them straight up.
Oh, wow.
And here's a fun fact. Do you know that jalapenos are hottest when they're younger? So when they're green, they're hottest. And as they gain color, as they go like yellow to red and etc., they actually become sweeter. So, yeah, very interesting fact. I don't know if you care. Maybe I should launch a gardening channel.
I was going to say, that was already on my, you must have missed my latest podcast episode and the Cozy Gardener episode. I had talked about the jalapenos, Alex. But that was a really cool fact.
Yeah. Cozy Snap and is it David Suzuki? Who's the gardener guy? Who's the guy that paints all the pictures? Are they the same guy?
What pictures? Bob Ross?
The guy who paints the pictures, Bob Ross? Is Bob Ross the guy that does all the gardening? No, David Suzuki's the gardener.
I think he's the gardener.
Next question from you two. Why does it look like Gore is wearing a thong? Or is it a shadow spider? Or is it both?
I'm looking at him right now.
Is Gore wearing a thong?
I'm looking at him right now, actually. What do you think?
It looks like it could be a spider, but it's definitely a thong.
Nope.
Yeah.
Can't even get it. Even. His legs are so much bigger than the rest of his body, too.
Cozy, that's going to end it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us this week, everybody. Really appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on that next one.